on the wrong side of the highway. He's going to kill somebody.
God!
Hey! Hey!
What's going on? Joker wants to race.
Hurry!
All right, come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Put your window down!
He wants something. He's probably drunk.
You're going the wrong way!
What?
You're going the wrong way!
We're going. Yeah, how could he know? Thank you. Thank you.
You're going in the wrong direction! You're going to kill somebody! You're going the wrong way!
What is it?
We're going to be using aliases our next job to relate to each other by your Christian names. And I don't want any talk about yourself personally. That includes where you've been, your wife's name, where you might have done time, or a bank maybe you're robbing. Here are your names. Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Orange, Mr. Blue, and Mr. Pink.
Why am I Mr. Pink?
Because you're a faggot, all right?
Why can't we pick our own colors?
No way, no way. Tried it once, doesn't work. You have four guys all fighting over who's going to be Mr. Black, but they don't know each other, so nobody wants to back down. No way, I pick. You're Mr. Pink. Be thankful you're not Mr. Yellow.
Yeah, but Mr. Brown is a little too close to Mr. Shit.
Mr. Pink sounds like Mr. Pussy. How about if I'm Mr. Purple? That sounds good to me. I'll be Mr. Purple.
You're not Mr. Purple. Some guy on another job is Mr. Purple. You're Mr. Pink.
Who cares what your name is?
Yeah, that's easy for you to say. You're Mr. White. You have a cool sounding name. All right, look, if it's no big deal to be Mr. Pink, you want to trade?
Hey, nobody's trading with anybody. This ain't a goddamn fucking city council meeting, you know? Now listen up, Mr. Pink. There's two ways you can go on this job. My way or the highway. Now what's it gonna be, Mr. Pink?
Jesus Christ, Dennis. Fucking forget about it. It's beneath me, you know? I'm Mr. Pink. Let's move on.
I'll move on when I feel like it.
Whoa, God.
Hey, come on. Let's go, Captain Lindfors. Try again. Hey, everybody. Is there a window open? I feel a draft. Huh? Ah. Wanted a kiss and call your mother. Oh, that was a good one.
Hey, prehistoric forest.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Andy. I shouldn't have called an apple fritter a donut.
Really? What changed your mind?
Well, might have been that 2x4 you hit me with out there. Hurts here, a little bit here, but mostly here.
Yeah, well, Miss, are apple fritters donuts?
Absolutely.
I knew it. Yeah, well, anyways, I'll have a waffle.
Oh, Kor-Drath, you wily fellow, on your quest for the perfect Christmas gift.
If only you could do that puzzle.
These activity books, man, he who won across, he who stole Christmas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters.
Andys. No, it's not Andy.
Bastard. It's not bastard. Well, I guess if you have to, you can just go to the back and see what it is. And okay. Yeah, that
now
makes
you
sense.
know.
Oh,
Now you know.
well, hello, everybody. It is the Dennis and Andy Show, 3 p.m. on a Wednesday. And what do we have? We've got...
Look what came from the printers.
That's right. If you backed Kor-Drath, the Christmas Miracle, the children's book, coloring activity book, or mature version, these are going out tomorrow. Boom. Just in time for Christmas. We said we would fulfill in November. Technically not even October yet. Let's go. Link in the description below. You still want to back it. You know, you don't have to wait. These are going out. If you could back it today, it would be in the mail tomorrow. Look at that.
These turned out awesome.
So freaking awesome. Oh, just look at that gorgeousness. Square bound, not stapled.
And you want your kids to, instead of being on their phone on a trip, look at that actual really cool Kor-Drath puzzles and word searches and all the fun stuff. And they can color. You can put it on crayons, or they can do colored pencils or markers, whatever you want.
You could scan it in and practice your computer coloring. Randy Howell in the house. Hail, barbarians. Hail to you, Randy. Amish Ninjas here. Hello. Dennis Rodriguez. What is up? Rich Stocky's in the house. Dark Side is Comics. Leg Kick. Hojo. So many people. Joe Bernardo. Sorry about those Niners, Joe. Ooh, 1 and 2. I expect that from the Cowboys, but not from what I hear is one of the best football teams out there. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Of course, Miss Bella Winters and Rob Hunter, our guest for today in the chat. Dark Side Comics. Stephen De La Vega. Scrolling through Agent Cub. If I missed your name, no offense. I'm just scrolling through B.A. Turner. What is up? All right. There you go. And speaking of, we must do our fantasy football update. Dennis and I are still 2-1.
Look at that. Look at that.
2-1.
After the garbage that you heard last week, calling me a loser. His daughter walked around with a big L as a loser.
Dennis, we're both 2-1.
I am
don't
in
understand.
second place, and had all my receivers not been injured, I should be in first place. But Helen is in first place.
If $1,000 bills rained from the sky, I'd be rich.
Yes.
But that's not how the
and
world
if the
works.
Cowboys had a good team, they'd have a winning record.
Oh,
snap.
That's right.
But
my wife, the Smith family, is in first place.
Family, yes. See how he rides her coattails, just like with everything else.
Where's your wife?
What's that?
You heard me.
She's right there. She's in a 5th spot. Considering she's supposed to be dead last, she got an F for the draft because all of her draft choices started with the letter J.
That's right. And I got a D- in the draft. Still 2-1.
And
you got an A+.
I did. And who beat me the first week? The girl who got an F. So anything can happen.
My wife got a D in the draft.
Yeah.
Miss number 1.
Yeah.
You know how much work she puts into it every week?
Oh, she told me how she drafted too. Oh, he's really cute. I'll take him.
No, but now I'm talking about every week before
she just goes and probably sees nobody's injured.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, no
it.
Q's next to their name. I'm
yeah.
good.
And then, but we do have to say, Amish Ninja, look at that. 12th spot. Woo. Last place. Wow, 214 points. Boy, I mean, I would hate to be that guy, but wait, who's right above Amish Ninja?
Oh, Bart Sears.
Bart Sears. They are fighting to see who's not going to make the playoffs. We're only 3 games in, and they're already worried about the playoffs.
You know, here's my curious. I know you told me what Amish Ninja does for a living. I hope it doesn't involve sitting down for long periods of time because that could be painful. Because his ass is banked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
So anyway, there's our football updates.
That's right.
My Packers won with a backup quarterback 2 weeks in a row. They are 2-1. We play the Vikings. We're hoping Jordan Love comes back this week, trying to become first in the division. But we will see what happens. And the Cowboys. The
Cowboys, I tell you what, if you look at the stats on paper, their defense just totally shit the bed. Dak's stats for that game were good. If you just look at quarterback stats, it's the defense. The offense came through. What happened to the defense? Exactly. Dallas, get your shit together. Yeah. All right. Let's introduce our guests.
We got a couple of really good guests this week.
We do. He puts the death in Death Raider.
Lock and load.
That's right.
Certified badass.
Some might say he is Rob Hunter, certified badass.
Lock and load.
Lock and load.
Did you get new sound effects, Andy? What's going on with the lock and load?
You're in StreamYard, baby. I didn't have to upload them. They're already there. Or wait, no, I did upload these. I take it back.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because I do my videos.
Because there's For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.
Oh, that's actually better than having people do the same blah 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 blah. Like, dude, there's 100 million YouTube videos and there's 100 million creators, and you all have to say it. That's why I try never to say it on my videos.
I hear you. And then, of course, we have the filmmaker, the queen of cinema. She makes the best parodies ever. Oh, look at that. We have a live audience. You can't see in front of us, but 10 feet in front of us. They're clapping for you, Belle.
Thank you.
Look at that.
I have a question, though. Why do you call American football football? You don't play with your feet. I don't
Sure
understand.
You do. You punt.
No, you
kick
can't. Okay, you kick one.
The game starts. You can't start the game without your foot. The ball. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Because it's trademarked.
And it's not in the football you're talking about. Across the pond, it's just boring.
Stupid and terrible.
I put it this way. There's a reason we call it soccer. Because I get so bored, I turn around and just want to, oh, wait, I can't say that out of the air. No, I can watch grass grow.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. Now, I feel bad when we were over in Switzerland visiting my wife's relatives and stuff. They were in there and we sat up with them and they were all into soccer or football, on there. And they were like, oh my gosh, on the edge of their seats. I'm like, but nothing happened. He hit the ball off his head out of bounds. This is not exciting. I just don't understand. I guess there's a reason we like American football. We like to hit people. We like to see balls flying. It's all good.
Oh,
yeah,
Dennis
American...
see balls flying.
Oh.
Across his chin.
Oh, come on.
When Rob groans, it's bad.
I went and watched, actually, because there is a football. Charlotte got a soccer team a couple years ago, and they really stretched for the name of the team. It's called the Football Club, Charlotte Football Club. Real original.
Well, they did that trying to get some of the NFL juice. That's why they did it.
Yeah, it's a Washington no-name team. Now the Commanders. You're better off with no name.
Yeah. So I went and watched the game last year. I got to be honest. I mean, I can watch most sports live, and I did enjoy it. But there were a couple times a couple players went down with injuries, and maybe on camera, on TV, it looks legit. But where I was sitting and what I saw, I'm like, dude, that guy didn't come close. What are you falling down for?
I don't know. To me, American football is kind of like rugby at this point.
It is.
It is.
It is. I think.
Do you like rugby? Do you like rugby?
I think it's more entertaining to watch than soccer, I guess. But every time I talk about football, people are like, "Oh, you mean soccer?" And I'm like, "No, I mean football," because we call it football. We don't say soccer. When you actually use your feet to play. But I enjoy American football more. It's definitely more rugby vibes to me. It's more fun to watch.
Oh, to be fair, Charlotte's Football Club is actually better than the Carolina Panthers, who play actual American football. That is a dig. True. Except, whoa. We got to say, Andy Dalton. Boy, did he come in and change the dynamics of that team. Just saying, for a week anyway.
Yeah, for a week. Yeah, I mean, it's I like rugby, and I actually think, every year they're doing new enhancements to the football helmets, padding, whatever to keep the players safe, which I'm all for player safety. But a part of me is like, you want player safety? What's up, Jimmy?
Hey,
Put all those guys back in the leather helmets, strip them down to those little pads they wore 60 years ago, and have them go out there and see how many of those guys hit just as hard as they do now. I bet after a few hits, they'll be like, we should probably take it down a notch.
No,
I
that one
bet
guy
there'd be less injuries.
crushes.
That's what I'm saying. I think there'd be less injuries because they've got that little leather helmet and those little baby pads on. I don't know.
No, you're going to have those one or two guys all juiced up that will just go, oh, I can just rip through these a-holes. They don't even have any padding on. I'm gonna tear off someone's arm.
So you are talking to a guy who got knocked out in football. With the helmet. Back when they were allowed to use the smelling salts, they crack them open and wake you up. I was like, whoa, don't move. We have to try and get your helmet off. What happened? Yeah, you went face to face with the big guy on our team. We were doing the nutcracker drill where you have to go through and try and get the running back because he's going between a very limited area on a pulling guard. My coach was like, you hit him, Turner, hit him face to face, and then you get him. I'm like, I will, coach. And I did. Spank.
Oh, no.
I was out.
So, I remember that story, and it explains a lot about you today.
I was thinking that I didn't dare to say it.
You just waited for Andy to say it.
I was like, he's got it. He's got
See, Rob's way of playing football, I'm blanking on the name of the movie, but it was Bruce Willis, I believe Jamie Foxx, and Damon Wayans. And Damon Wayans is running down the field. Wasn't this the one? And he pulls out a gun and starts shooting other players. You know the movie I'm talking about?
That's exactly how I play because I don't like people touching me.
And that's how you play two-hand touch football. The last Boy Scout, Joe Bernardo.
Yes, it is.
Rob plays football just like in fact, they based that movie. They saw Rob play, two-hand touch, and he whips out a freaking water gun filled with sulfuric acid and just starts squirting guys in the face.
Technically, I was just poking people in the eyes. I was doing the Three Stooges between the helmets. They changed it. They thought it'd be more dramatic with a pistol. So,
yeah.
The funny thing is, I got poked in the eye a few times. So, I wear glasses a lot of the times. So I actually got the specs that went right over and wrapped all the way around. So whenever those fingers came in, doink, I felt like the Three Stooges.
So the big prescription goggles.
Yeah. They were about this thick around. It almost looked like a mask, and you'd put it on there and they were clear. And then right here were the lenses that were prescription, and then they strapped right on tight. So I mean, it was suction to your face. But man, nobody's fingers got in my eye after that.
That's right. Now he takes those in knee pads to conventions for other things.
Oh my God.
So guys, that was a great stream. Thanks for joining everybody. Yeah, seriously, this is what I deal with every day. Rob, I don't know how you ever did you share a studio with him?
Yeah, he sat behind.
I know the answer. I'm asking Rob.
Yeah, to be honest, Andy had to be calmer and he had to censor himself because there was women in the building,
Oh, yeah.
and Andy would be talking, to HR once a week. If he
had to be a little more on point.
Andy had to be gagged.
He did. He
I had a
did.
gag order at work.
Yeah.
You could literally see it. Andy would turn around and a censor bar would pop up, and you're like, "Oh, dude, really? What did you say? What did you just say?" So,
well, obviously, he feels you should both feel honored. He feels very comfortable with both of you because he's not holding anything back today.
That was great. That's something I always admire about you guys. Like just men in general, you have this ability to rebound on things so quickly and come up with stuff. It's almost like a survival skill. It's just great.
you learn that in junior high locker room.
Yeah, that's right. Junior high is when it is. High five long distance, because that's exactly like Buddy from Friend or from Seinfeld. High five.
That's right.
Ask the 8-ball.
I can't disagree. Hey, Belle, do you go to the movies much?
I did.
Deadpool Wolverine or no?
No. I went to see Regan, the movie.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was good, like historical. It was made with, it was tasteful. Like, you really feel they try to respect the material they were working with. But no, Deadpool, I was afraid that it was just going to be like, since everything has been woke lately, right? It's been, and this generation of writing is so terrible. I was afraid that Deadpool was just going to be like, okay, but people loved it because it's better than all the crap we get so far.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, I don't know. So I didn't go.
Well, supposedly it's coming to Disney Plus on October 1st, so right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not woke at all. It's really, in fact, Ryan Reynolds does a great job making fun of stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay. So I might try to give it a shot. Maybe I buy it on DVD or something.
There you go.
Wolverine, Hugh Jackman does a great job of keeping it more serious, because if you pulled Wolverine out of that movie, it would just be nonstop chatter. And you just be like, oh, please, Deadpool, shut up, shut up, shut up. My wife and I went and watched Wolverine Deadpool, and we liked it, but we're like, oh, thank God Wolverine was in that movie. And I know that's why he's in that movie.
Yeah, balance.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, Deadpool, they would have calmed him down a little bit with other characters that weren't Wolverine. But that's I always hated that. I always hated that effing Deadpool. I always liked the Ninja Deadpool more. I don't like the Bugs Bunny Deadpool. So,
a Bugs Bunny Deadpool. That's a good word. That's a good word for it.
Well, the guy who started doing that to Deadpool, it's because he wanted to write the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh, okay.
So that was his practice. Too many writers in comics. It's just practice. They whatever job they actually want, they practice in the comic books.
Okay, so Joe's correcting. It won't be on Disney Plus October 1st, but will be on digital to buy. Okay.
Oh, there you go. So you could burn it. You could illegally download it and burn it.
So I will still. I might actually buy that.
You know what? Here's the thing. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and the entire team of writers, they fought Disney tooth and nail every step of the way to keep all the woke stuff out, to keep the She-Hulk garbage out, to keep Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel out, and they threatened to walk off. They refused to go on The View. They refused to go on Jimmy Kimmel until they did their own show without Jimmy Kimmel on the Jimmy Show, which was awesome.
I saw that.
But they fought everything because they're like, if you do any of this, you will destroy, the fans will walk away. And they fought, and because they stuck up for our values as comic book nerds, guys who just want really great stories, fun stories, I'm going to buy it when it comes out. I went in the theater 3 times with different people to see it. It's worth it. I'll spend the money, and I will. I have not bought a Disney movie. Boy, I can't tell you the last time. So I will be supporting this one, probably since Phase 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that surprising that movie was as successful as it was? considering they literally used the plot, the TVA plot, which was like Dead Man Walking. I'm shocked that like you guys took like the worst plot that Marvel's come up with in 15 years, and you still were able to make it entertaining. But you're just like, why did you do that in the first place? Like, boy, that was so dangerous. It's almost like Ryan Reynolds had an idea that he wanted to include all the throwaway.
He had to. That was part of it because it had to be. It was
bridge.
Kind of like a handoff to the new universe.
Mm-hmm,
so Marvel basically said you have to incorporate certain things, work your story around it, because this was not their first version of the story by any means. And they kept working around it. And like one of the things that got cut out, which I was really great, they were going to have She-Hulk, and then you were going to see Wolverine. So it was going to be Wolverine, not like 181, where Hulk Wolverine go together. It was going to be She-Hulk and Wolverine doing the same thing. She-Hulk was going to destroy him and then basically rip on men, saying how bad men were and stuff like that. And Ryan's like, nope, out or I'm walking kind of thing. So love it. He stuck up for us fans. So like I said, I'll buy us. I will. One of the few times I'm going to give Disney money because of Ryan Reynolds. And
I know Ryan said that he had to come up with a story in like an hour and a half. And then there was multiple rewrites over and over again as they added stuff and fought with Disney and everything else. So I thought they did a pretty good job considering everything they had to mess with. And there was a lot of fan service in that movie that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, guys, word on the street is Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are moving here to Charlotte.
Really?
And, They are. And my wife actually knows the area of town and even right around the street. And I broke the news to Dennis a couple weeks ago, and I found out that it's going to probably be the RNA show coming soon, Ryan and Andy. But he's good with it,
Well, as long as Andy's second on the stream, that's all that matters.
I mean, it's going to be difficult for me not being the most handsome person anymore, because I'll give that one to Ryan. He's a little younger than me, so he
still has hair.
Yes, it's the age that makes the difference.
Totally, it's just age.
All right, Mr. Clean.
But here's something that I thought we could talk about, and Belle, you can weigh in on this too, because it's about working wages. Rob, I don't know if you've seen this story or not. And there is follow-up to it. Rob, did you see this?
No, I don't actually read any comic book news.
Fantastic. So the IDW CEO, Davide Jonas, and publisher hereafter. However, this is all hearsay and tittle-tattle. More consistent was the comment that IDW CEO Davide Jonas has appointed himself publisher of IDW and has been pushing to bring the cost of books down, especially on licensed titles at the publisher, looking to get every page of a comic for $200. And that covers writing, penciling, inking, coloring, design, and editorial.
So the whole budget will be $200 a page.
$200 a page
for everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I have something great to say about this because I just had a Twitter conversation with Rob Liefeld trying to explain to him inflation versus what you do, because inflation is fake. The government always pulls a number. If in the list of things that they use for inflation, to rate inflation, if an item like milk goes way up, then they pull milk out of the list of things that they're going to use to calculate inflation. So I told Rob Liefeld that instead of using inflation as a standard, what you do is you use gold, the price of gold. So for instance, he was making a point about his page rate when he broke into Marvel in 1985 was $75.
Right.
And I told him, I said, well, you can't use inflation numbers because inflation is those numbers are always manipulated. So the government always looks good, whoever is the president at the time. I said, so use the price of gold. So how much gold can $75 buy in 1985 versus how much could you sell that same gold for? And that's the page rate that when you break into comics, since Rob Liefeld, when he broke into comics, he was getting $75 a page in 1985. Marvel and DC should be paying their pencilers when they first start working, and it works out to be $440 some a page.
Oh, really? You figured it out?
Yeah, oh yeah, because it's easy, because $75 in 1985 buys 0.1875 ounces of gold, and 0.1875 ounces of gold multiplied by I think I just took the number of gold is now selling at $2,600 an ounce. So you multiply that and you get 440. You get like 440, 460, or 424, something like that.
Right.
So this is great that IDW wants to spend no more than $200 a page for everything, when if the comic book industry could keep up with the cost of everything today, should be paying just the penciler over $400.
Now check this out. I'll read down. This really cracks me up. Tara McCrillis supports the financial cuts. Indeed, the belief has been expressed that if creators are paid less, they will be more incentivized to promote the books to earn more as part of a new back-end deal.
Yeah, except they don't say anything about back-end deal.
Yeah, you pay less like that, that's not incentivizing me at all.
Only if it's 50% gross, so I know exactly what I'm going to make.
Well, yeah.
I mean, at that point, I mean, the reason we pimp books out is because, you know, we're incentivized to sell every copy we can, which is, and we listen to the audience, we do all that because we earn everything at $200 a page. So, you know, think of that: writing, penciling, inking, coloring, design, and editorial for $200 a page. Here's $200. You guys fight it out. Who's getting what percentage?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really familiar of how much a page cost to do, but to me, $200 for all of this seem cheap.
It's way cheap. I can give you,
like it doesn't seem right to me.
I can give you examples from last I knew of, which is 5-6 years ago, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
$200 is a basic pencil rate. So for just pencils, okay.
Yeah, for just yes, okay.
A writer's about $100. So that's 3.
We'll talk about this, Stephen.
And then so writing's about 100, so that's 300. Coloring's weird because if you're with the big two, Marvel and DC, you're looking, those guys could make $1.25 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Lettering is probably 25-30. And then, they throw in editorial and design. I couldn't even tell you because honestly, editorial, those guys are all on staff.
They're salaried.
They're salaried, or they were. And design, same thing. I mean, usually the person that puts the book together is on staff as well. So
here's a good question that you guys can answer. How much labor and hours would go into a page, total or per person?
Well, so when I went to the Kubert School, and Rob was there shortly after me, so I'm sure he's told the same thing. Joe Kubert would basically say, if you're a penciler, you should be able to pencil 1 page a day. So if you want weekends off, you should be able to do 5 pages a week. If it's a monthly book, 4 weeks, that's 20 pages. Boom. An inker should be able to do 1.5 pages a day. A writer should be able to write at least 2 books a month. So a book every 2 weeks. And then like a letterer would be able to letter, like I know letterers that can bang a whole book out in a day, 20 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say 2 days, and a colorist is like maybe 4 or 5. So it's hard to break it down by hour, but you can break it down by day, because a page could take anywhere. When I was drawing a 20-page book, I'd have a page that would take maybe 2 hours because it just wasn't that difficult. But on the flip side, I might have a page or 2 in the book that could take 12 to 15 to 20 hours because of how difficult it was. So it evens out throughout the 20 pages. So you could average out and say 9 hours a page for penciling, 8 to 9 hours. I mean, what do you think, Rob?
When I first started Death Raider, of course, I was learning so much in the beginning. I was spending a week on the pencils and inks and marker. So I do agree, though. That's the pretty much the standard. The standard is if you want to be a penciler who can pay his bills, you better be able to draw a page a day.
Yeah.
You know, and same with inking. Like sometimes I would spend when I was inking, I might spend all day on just one page. Other times, because I said yes to helping out on something, and so I had 3 extra pages I had to work on during that week or whatever, I would, definitely make sure I was working my ass off to do a page and a half of inks a day. And then it really does depend. I once inked 6 pages in one day. I told myself, dude, you have to get this done. Ink everything with brush and then just go in and do a little bit of cleanup. But it was the pages I picked because I knew I had to I just had to have the editor happy with me. So, you can't, that type of focus, though, most people can't do that every day,
Oh, sure.
I just don't understand either why it's up to the writer, the penciler, inker, color, and all that to promote the books. I thought this company have a marketing, like,
Not anymore.
am I wrong here? Like,
No,
you
you're not
guys
at all.
have to promote because you don't work for a company that can promote you. You have to do it yourself.
Isn't that what they're doing?
So if we're spending our time, you're paying us $200 for a page, and we all split it. So say it's the 4 of us, and it's the 4 of us that are doing it, and we have to split it. So let's say we get $50 a person.
That's cute.
A page. I know.
That's cute.
Equal of a penciler.
Okay, so I'll get 60, and he'll get 40, and you both will get 50. So okay, so that's how it'll work. But anyway, we split the $200. And then times 20 pages. Okay, that's not a lot of money. And now you want me to spend my personal time promoting that instead of actually doing another book.
Yeah.
Because all my time. The reason we promote is because it's a risk reward. We are putting all of our time and effort. We're creating the product from scratch. So we are the ones that have to promote it to put it out. But we get the reward or the stick or the carrot on the end, depending on how you do. And we're taking all the risk. The company is supposed to be taking the risk by doing it, not if they're now having you promote it for that same pittance of amount of money.
And remember, that's also editorial design. Can you imagine design? I know that a lot of pencilers didn't even like doing covers for Marvel back in the day when it wasn't just about drawing covers, because they didn't like having to go through the design with the editor, because they're like, dude, I could draw a page in the time it takes for the editor to get back to me with which of the 4 shitty cover layouts that they're going to approve. And they would always approve the worst cover layout. So they thought, Sean told me multiple times, he didn't, if they said, hey, the way the deadline's going, we're going to bring in someone to draw all of the covers. And he never cared. He didn't care at all because he said it was a pain in the ass having to deal with the editor and the layouts. So you take this $200 a page, goes for everybody. Can you imagine the person you're dealing with, some a-hole at the company all day long about a new, designing the cover, just the title,
no, dude.
Or all that stuff?
If I got paid low like that, I'd straight up say before I started any work, if this is what you're paying, you're not telling me how to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stippling Vaughn says, always disagree with Joe's philosophy. That works with his loose style. It fails against George Perez, Phil Jimenez, and EVS's style. So yes and no, because George Perez was a page a day guy. Because remember, George got in the 70s when there was no royalties. It was low, the page rates at the time in the 70s, it sounds low today, but if you did a page a day back then, you could make a decent living in the mid 70s. And George was always a page a day guy.
Oh, he did more than a page a day. He did multiple pages a day. He'd sit on his couch and just draw.
Phil Jimenez, as far as I know, because he goes back to breaking in when I did in the early 90s, late 80s. Even at that time, you were page a day. I know Ethan, when he was penciling, he could do a page a day. Now, when he inks his own work, that takes a bit longer. But if you look at some of the work Ethan did at DC when he was being inked by other people, I thought that stuff looked great. I thought the detail he put in was just, I thought it was great. If, for the time he had to get a page done to get the book out on the monthly basis, I thought the work Ethan was doing was fantastic. I've got it all back there on my shelf. Same with George Perez and Phil.
Stephen Della Vega says, what kind of artist and writer do you think they're going to be able to afford for $200 a page?
Yeah.
So particularly when they say, for the licensed ones. So let's just take Andy and I just did a really nice review of the Transformers that Skybound Image is doing right now. And that's a licensed property. It's not IDW, but let's just assume IDW had that creative team that they've got going on with that works. Guarantee they're paid way more than $200 a page. And it shows that the writing is fantastic. The story is great. The art, everything about it, it is a top notch with the integration with the G.I. Joe world and stuff. It is top notch. You would not even get close to that for $200 a page. As a matter of fact, it would probably be crap. And I would be like, okay, you can take that off my pull list. Whereas I have every issue of both the G.I. Joe and the Transformers because they're good and they have talent on there and they're paying enough for that talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really what we're saying is their budget is now $4,000 a book.
Right.
Yes.
That's it. That's for everything. Worth $4,000 a book. That's all they want to spend.
Then you can count me in right now. You can put the epitaph, get it ready, put the stone up because IDW is done if that's what they're going to do.
I just
I
just
care what
don't
they have
see.
for license.
It seems it will pay better than go work at McDonald's than actually trying to make a page. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, go to Walmart and minimum wage pays a lot more.
Iodine 74, $50 a day worth of work, $6.25 an hour. I know Andy said the time might be 2 hours or it could be 12, but just running the math. Oh yeah, no, it's if you run it that way, it's ridiculous. And I don't think this is going to fly anyhow. I think this whole 200 thing. I just can't see them doing it. But it's not going to be the creators that they hired to go, okay, guys, break it up as you see fit. I'm sure they'll do it. So, 200, the writer could be, God, I'm trying to think. Let's think about this.
Well, IDW is famous for paying horrible anyways.
No, I know, but I'm just trying to break
$40 a
down.
page for inks.
I'm trying to fit everything into 200. So let's say they go $10 for lettering. That leaves $190. Let's say they go $30 for coloring. That leaves $160. Let's say for so that's lettering, coloring. Let's say for writing, they go $60. Then the artist. Because at that point, you're getting pencils and inks from the guy because the guy's not going to be like, oh, yeah, I'll take, I'll just do pencils.
And that's $100.
That's $100 for pencils and inks. I mean,
yeah, that's a foreign artist who's just drawing on the computer. So the pencils are the inks.
Right. Exactly.
That's all it is. So, but that doesn't cover, they said for everything. So somehow you're going to have an editor on the book who's going to edit how many books a month, and their piece of their salary is also part of that $200 a page. So it's even less. Exactly. Yeah. Because now, unless you pay them part-time, you'll have to pay them full-time. Is IDW in California?
Yes.
So that makes it sticky that makes it even more to have a full-time employee as an editor. So that cost goes way up. So the Andy's breaking it down to $200 a page. It really might be $150 to share between the writer and
the thing with editors these days, technically you don't have to be on site. You can
so they might do it remote.
Well, yeah. I mean, why do you need an editor on site when if you need to have a meeting with them, you can do something like this?
Yeah, that's true.
Just obviously not live, just the Zoom or something. You know, what's the editor have to be there for? They're just looking at stuff. Well, they can look at stuff from an email attachment or a Dropbox link.
And realistically, being in California doesn't help your situation no matter what. You don't have to have a great big huge office, building anymore, because most everybody can do all their stuff remotely and stuff.
Yeah.
You're better off to shut that down, pop it up in Texas or Oklahoma, somewhere cheap to operate, maybe Florida if they're all retired,
above your garage, like Todd McFarlane.
Right.
Stippling Vaughn says, by George's own words in his interviews, he failed deadlines because he wasn't able to meet deadlines. He was even boycotted DC and Marvel in the 90s. Why he had to do Malibu Ultraverse. I mean, that could be.
That's when he's older. That was when he was older.
I read interviews with George. Right. I read interviews with George from the 80s and stuff, where it seemed like, if I remember correctly, he was a page a day. And when we first moved to Florida in 97, he lived close by. We went out to dinner and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, maybe in the 90s, that was the case. He slowed down. I don't know. I just look at the stuff he did at Marvel and then Teen Titans forever, and that was coming out pretty regularly. But
George is famous for when he broke in before he met his wife, and all he did was draw comics. He would lay on his couch because George has the ability to start in one corner of the page and just draw down to the bottom of the corner of the page, and it's done. He did multiple pages a day, laying on his back on a couch with holding it up. But then, because George had diabetes, right?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what hit him. Like him actually becoming a successful artist and realizing he wanted a life is when he started to slow down. Plus his health issues.
Jimmy says. Jimmy Reyes in the house. I wonder if IDW's plan to offset that pay rate with some back end from sales. I mean, they said in the piece that I had pulled up over here that the belief has been expressed that if creators are paid less, they will be more incentivized to promote the book.
But that's the word too. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
They use the word incentivized, and I'm kind of like, how do you incentivize people when you're punishing them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to incentivize people by rewarding them. I just don't. I find that word very interesting.
That's a decentification.
Yeah. Can you imagine you're working your job, not comics, but just your job, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, Belle, it's your monthly review. Come on in. Mm-hmm. Oh, how's it going? Should I be nervous? No. Belle, you are doing great. Oh my God, you're
doing so great.
Sales numbers, you're doing so good. We're going to lower your pay. That's your incentive to work hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that's comics.
Wait a second, that's right.
That's the industry we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole thing is but that honestly tells me just them brainstorming this and it's getting out to the public tells me they are literally on their last leg.
This is for investors. This is them trying to convince investors. Oh, this is what we're going to pay. We're going to lower all of our costs, and here's the new budget. We're only going to spend $4,000 per book. Please give us more money to lose.
But
that's definitely not for creators.
That sees this, that understands comics just a little bit, would be like we just did. We broke it down. What kind of talent are you going to get for that? Oh, you met Bob from high school. He's going to draw it. This is how Dungeons and Dragons came about in the 1970s. They literally went to high schools and had them draw it because they had no budget to pay people. Yeah. IDW is recreating this method apparently for comic books.
Yeah. And that I love it when a publisher that is bankrupt, who is losing money every quarter, when they talk about incentives and paying on the back end. Oh yeah, I would definitely trust IDW, who constantly is firing everyone and having to rehire other people. Like, management is always changing. I would completely trust that they aren't going to put in a bunch of fake expenses so that like if I pushed and I killed myself on a book and I'm doing everything on the book and I'm like, holy crap, it sold 100,000 copies, I'm getting a nice royalty check. And then when the royalty check shows up, how could you trust that you actually get paid what you're supposed to get paid?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect any royalty. I saw somebody post that down below. Maybe they're going to give you money for sales on the back end of the book. I would never count on that.
No,
it's like saying we're going to get Social Security when we retire.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. You would have to have a ironclad contract, which you would never spend a lawyer to get a contract like that for this type of deal. But you'd have to have an ironclad contract. And it was all about gross. It was above the expense line. There'd be no way that you would agree to anything with expenses, because they'll just fill it in with whatever the expenses. Like, literally, if your book was doing fantastic and they owed you 50 grand in royalties, they'll just take expenses from other parts of the company and shove them in and go, well, here's what it cost. Here's all of our costs. So your book ends up, here's your $600. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah, you could never trust that.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
So, I mean, it's gotten some obviously talk online and stuff. That's what this Meeting Cool article goes into, because this is like a follow-up on the one from a week previous, which is what I showed. Mm-hmm. And, it's like,
this is the things to come. This is where this industry is heading. And it's your smaller publishers, they're the one. It's going to be IDW, Boom Studios, Oni Press, Small Point Press, Antarctica, those kind of guys. They're the ones that have to find a way to make this really work. And IDW overpaid for their licenses, and that's why you see the whole Skybound thing going into Image, reworking some of that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes, but I don't see this as being a winner, and maybe this is the start of the end for small publishers. You're better off just going in and independent publishing then.
Well,
AI art. That's what it's the beginning of.
That's what it incentivizes, really, is use AI. It will be less time, less cheaper. It's terrible business model overall. I think that you're going to go under.
It could, if IDW does this, because right now it's still kind of like rumor-esque, I guess. If they actually tried to implement this, would they find people to work for them? Of course. It's like, that's why there's never been a union in comics, because you unionize, there's always going to be somebody that's like, hell yeah, I want to draw comics. I'm a scab, cross the line, whatever. So they could find people, but comics is about visual quality and obviously the writing as well. The writing, they might get away with not being as great, but if the visuals blow as well, forget it. They're toast. So I don't think it's an end for all small publishers. I mean, we go to the shop every Wednesday. There's lots of small publishers out there. I'm sure they're obviously paying better than this.
That's my whole box that I pick up every Wednesday. That's almost all small publishers that are in there. And I actually today dropped off a list of 12 books that I'm canceling just because they're not great. But I will always, something looks cool, I'll give it 3 or 4 issues to see if it's any good before I make the decision, to drop. But and as previews, that means I'll be checking out a bunch of the new small ones and see if there's anything good that looks cool to give it a shot.
But there's a lot of, I got to admit, compared to 15 years ago, where you'd look at a small publisher book and maybe 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6, you'd go, oh, that looks pretty good. Now, it's almost 5 out of 6. Look good. Like, and then he reads them and says the stories are good too and stuff. So, this is where it's going. And of course,
I just don't know how you can expect to get someone to work on your book and do the best they could if you don't pay them right.
No,
It's just because for one, it's not their book, so they don't have the same love that they would if it was. And then you pay them like crap. So it's like,
well, I was going to say Dynamite, for example, there's a number of them, and they're using they use a lot of the Italian folk over there. That's their writers and artists, so they're paying less than they are here in the States. We are going to get to the point, if they're going to do this, there's a lot of them down in Brazil. There's some in India. There's these artists that are worldwide, and you don't have to be local to draw any of this stuff or write it. And a lot of the stuff that I'm picked up, it is from overseas in these publishers. You're going to wind up changing that from, Italy's now too expensive too to hit that. So maybe we are going to Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia. I don't know, maybe Cuba, maybe who knows where the next one it'll be. But that's what they're going to do. It's going to be the same thing that they're doing in manufacturing. Where's the cheapest market? Then I can try and get something that's plausible.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
which is weird because comics are so very specific.
So I was listening to, and this kind of is about this, but it's about bringing stuff back over here to make. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they actually ran the numbers on, people say, oh, everything's going over to China to be made, whatever. So like our iPhones and stuff, right? And they figured out that if an iPhone was made over here, it would cost, so the brand new iPhone 16 basic model, whatever you want to call it, is like $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
That same iPhone, if it was made over here, would have to sell for like $2,400.
Well, it's true, because part of China and their government is what they did is they literally, when it comes to manufacturing, they will underbid on an industry so they can get all that manufacturing, so they can get the world's manufacturing in China, because China's biggest problem is keeping their huge population happy. So if everybody has a job, then they're going to be happy, even if it's 16 hours a day making iPhones, and some of them jump off the roof. The majority are happy or happy enough.
Right.
So that's what they do. And then they slowly will raise the price.
Right.
In America, they don't do that. So there's no,
there's
government
slave
subsidy.
labor.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's just it.
And then we used to deal with Chinese companies or production companies. I used to. And there was an example of like footballs that were ordered, and you'd send over all the specs for the footballs. All of a sudden they showed up, and the string that they used to sew it up, instead of being white, it was green. You're like, what? We needed it at white. Well, we only had green, so that's what we used. Well, we can't sell it. Well, here you get a slap on the wrist. Maybe they would fire you. Consequences are a lot worse over in China, let's just say, when they make mistakes like that.
I'm sorry, is that not the right color? Drag this guy out, bring in the next one.
But there's big consequences to stuff like that. It's interesting. But part of this all is, number one, the economy really kind of blows right now. We all know it. You were talking about inflation.
It's great.
And with them dropping the basis points by a half point now, you can expect inflation to skyrocket. I'm going to assume it's going to be close to hyperinflation within months and stuff like that. You brought up something that we were talking about, and Stephen Della Vega, I think, brought it up. Are we going to have gold around and stuff just to buy it? The answer is, if I were you guys, yes. The answer is yes. No. Gold, you put it in there. Gold is a store of value. It's not supposed to go up in price. The buying power of $1 has dropped like a rock. The more we print money, the more. And you're right. Gold and silver, well, any of your ones, platinum, palladium, any of your precious metals, whatever you put into it, it basically theoretically is your store of money that should flatline. Everything else goes around it. Spot market right now on gold is 26.75, and silver's $32 a troy ounce right now. So one thing I would suggest with all of the stuff that's going to hit, they're predicting blackouts and stuff that could happen, the cyber attacks, which means grocery stores won't be able to take your actual currency. I would recommend you guys get some cash at home just in case, because they might not be able to use credit cards and stuff if they have the problems. And hey, silver's an easy one to transact with. Go down to your local brokers and pick up some bullion, 1 ounce bullion coins or something, because you might need them to trade coming up. Just saying.
The government will never let that happen. They'll just switch us to a digital currency.
That's what they want to do already.
Yeah. Honestly, if you have to buy your groceries with silver or gold, there's no more government, and there's probably no power anyway.
Oh,
so
no.
Those grocery stores are closed.
It's a barter system.
Yeah. You're going to your local farmer. You're buying the vegetables from your local farmer or whatever. There's no more. If there's a grocery store, it's just empty with all its windows smashed out. Maybe your local farmer will set up there in the parking lot, but that's really what it is. People, when you give them the gold storage spiel, people are shocked. I know Rob Liefeld thinks I'm probably an idiot telling him.
Did he write back to you at all, or was it
I
just
don't think
one way?
so. I think he probably realized it was a waste of time. I felt like saying, dude, you're rich. Call your business manager and he'll explain this to you. But then that really sounds snarky. It's can you imagine? It shows just how trained we are. Because if you told someone, hey, I just got I'm pretty much brand new as a penciler. If I told my wife, Marvel's going to put me on a shitty book, but they're paying me $424 just a pencil, she would be like, oh my God, we're rich. But we aren't rich. That's just what they should be paying, because the dollar doesn't buy anything. There's no buying power left. And even in chat, people are like, well, that's too high because gold has gone way up. No. Gold hasn't gone way up since 1985. What we can buy with the dollar has gone way, way, way down. And that's what gold and silver, that's all it does, is it shows you how worthless our dollar is. Now, Rob Liefeld would probably come back to you and say, yeah, but look at the price of TVs and video games. And it's true, electronics in 1985 were more expensive than they are now. Sure. But that's because of China. If it wasn't for China making stuff with slave labor, this country, we would be screwed already. People would have already realized that that their job, when they thought making 80 grand a year was a great job, they would have realized 10 years ago that they're practically, they're the working poor. Without China, we would have, without China, you'd go into buy a blender and it's $300. But you'd be like, this blender's $300.
All of your automobiles, your electronics, your TVs, your phones, they all use the chips. Most of the chips, they're on PCB boards, control boards, stuff like that. 85% of them is manufactured in Taiwan. So, I mean, almost everything that we utilize today is hinged on Taiwan being able to put those out, because you see that Intel and everybody, even your computers and stuff, they've all moved their processing. Taiwan does the bulk of it for the entire world. Just think of that. If suddenly China were to go in, which was the fear,
that's why they want to,
right? And then all of a sudden, guess who's got control of all the manufacturing chips? Guess where we're all going to be in 10 years? We're going to be still streaming on these exact same computers.
Well, the manufacturing process to make those chips is so toxic that the last of the companies that were in America that made those chips, they realized that their cleanup building that was supposed to clean everything up and make everything safe was toxic. They're like, wait a minute, this is supposed to make everything safe for everyone. That's why everything moved to Taiwan, because nobody cares about Taiwan and how toxic an environment that process making those chips are. So that's why everything moved. That's why all that chip manufacturing moved to Taiwan, because EPA standards here were like, they realized it would be impossible. It would be cost prohibitive to actually make those safely for the environment and for people around them. So and it's all about AI. All the new chips, it's because they know that whoever hits AI first rules the world, and China wants to rule the world. I mean, every country wants to rule the world, but
China, I'm picturing Tears for Fears in my everybody wants to rule the world.
Well, since we're going down this road, Rob does a new video series on the channel.
Wait. Can I can I darken the lights anymore? More gloomy and more depressing?
No. So, guys, go subscribe to Rob's channel. The thumbnails. This doesn't show the thumbnail, but it's bright red, and guaranteed after these 20-minute video sessions, your day will be brighter. Oh wait, no, I said that back. The name of this one. This is his latest video, which I haven't watched yet. So we'll watch some of it, and it's titled "Nukes and Fallout." And geez. I personally think Rob should go by Bunker Bob, but
I was going to say Rob is broadcasting live from which missile silo did you buy from NORAD that you're now in? But yes, he's from an old missile silo.
Hojo says Andy was wrong about you, Rob. You're smart.
What?
Just like that.
My wife likes to say that I know a whole lot about crazy shit. That's how she describes me.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, I think all of our wives think that.
Let's hit play and see what Rob has to say about nukes and fallout.
Another bad news video on the same day. Dude, everyone's got to be thinking, Rob, what the F is going on? Why another? We can't take these. We can't take too much bad news. We can't take it. You're killing us. Okay. This is going to be quick. The only reason I'm posting this is because I keep seeing so many morons posting the same dumb shit when it comes to fallout and radiation. Literally in comments on other channels, they still don't understand. Okay, so here it is. One, if we have a nuclear war, it's going to be limited strikes. So, which means if you live in a possible target site, live near it. Now, if you live in New York City, like Manhattan, then you're done. Who's not going to want to whack? If you're going to drop some nukes, who's not going to want to whack New York City, especially Manhattan? They'll just, you're getting thumped. It's all over. You're at ground zero. You're done. Same for Washington D.C. You're thumped. You're done. If you live next to a giant Air Force base, I live 26 miles from MacDill, so
you're screwed.
I need to have some sort of preparations for a first strike or a limited nuclear strike. But I will have time because when it comes to fallout, as long as you live, at least I think it's 15 miles and farther. Obviously, it depends on the size of the nuke, but you need to worry more about the fallout that may or may not show up than you need to worry about the actual it's going to still, if you live within 15 miles, it's still going to blow out windows and things like that, but it's not going to fly in your house. I live 26 miles from McDill, so it might still blow out windows. It's kind of ironic. My house, the side of the house that faces the direction that McDill is in, there's no windows on that side because that's where the southern side where the.
So, Rob, would you like to just give out your exact home address because you're nailing it pretty good? So
I know.
Rob Hunter. Let me get my map out. 26 miles from McDill. He just said the direction that the blast would come could blow out these windows, so it could be.
Oh, you do realize that if you spend like $26 on a website, I can go to the website, type in your name, and for like $26, they'll give me. And if I have a relative idea of your age, they'll tell me everything about you, where you live. They'll tell me your credit rating, all that stuff. So, and literally because of property taxes, since I'm a homeowner, you can find out my friggin' address by just Googling it anyways. So,
a better investment is to spend that $25 on a copy of Death Raider, and then you will get Rob's address and a great book to read.
It's true. It's true. I will be shipping it from my house. So you'll still get my address.
Since we're talking about it, I'm going to tell you guys, they have an app out there. It's called Nuke Map. You might be asking yourself, how do you know about this? Mm-hmm. You will not believe it. We learned about it because you guys know where we're from. The CMS school system decided that they have been teaching the kids about this for the last several years.
Oh boy.
Yes. So
nothing like sending your elementary school kids home crying.
So you're saying, well, what is it? Since you're bringing up nuke stuff, that it triggered something with me. Mm-hmm. Do you want to select a preset? Sure. There's Washington, D.C. Rob brought up Washington, D.C. What yield warhead do you want? Let's just select one of the presets that they did.
Oh, God, I don't even know what that means.
Oh,
no, I know what it means. I just don't know what size you would pick.
Honestly, you need to know about wind direction and fallout more than this kind of stuff.
But this is interesting. It'll all show up.
Get there right.
Yeah, so here's a North Korean one. One of the ones, right? Do you want it an airburst surface? Advanced options we're not going to do, and then it will show you. Let's just go ahead and
did you pick airburst?
Detonate it. So
you're going to want airburst, so it just.
So when your kids come home from school because they've been taught this in class, you can see that the fireball radius is approximately 50.8 meters. And then it goes to third degree burns, which incinerates everybody. Then here's your third degree burns. There's your moderate damage, your radiation blast, so on and so forth. And it will go ahead and tell you.
Well, I don't know anything about meters. I'm American. Belle, what's 50 meters in feet?
Yeah, well, the problem is I don't know anything about feet.
3 feet per meter. 3 feet per meter.
Oh, 3 feet. So
it's roughly it's roughly 3 feet.
Yeah, roughly. So 150 feet out.
Yeah, I need to start learning those.
Poof. So now the kids will go through this. So like we can do here, we'll detonate it.
You really need a. So
there's the casualties going up. There's fatalities, and then there's injuries from the initial. This is a very small North Korean nuclear bomb.
You should right. You really honestly should pick a Russian. You at least need to pick a Russian nuke especially for Washington, D.C., because there's so many targets that they're going to want to hit in Washington, D.C., besides the White House and the Pentagon. So
I mean, do we really care about Washington, D.C.?
no, it actually would be doing us a favor.
Okay, here's a Minuteman. I used a Minuteman. All
there
right.
you go. We'll nuke ourselves.
Yeah, it's one of our missiles.
Oh.
So 362 instant fatalities, 362,000.
Yeah.
619,000 instant injuries. You can see the fallout. Now, what Rob was saying is what happens when, things start moving depending on which way the wind goes, because, it's going to carry that radiation and infect everybody. That's a whole separate thing. But just to show you guys down here, to show you how many people are using this, especially your kids, 349.3 million people have detonated nukes on this site. So for those of you that are thinking nobody knows about this, it does. I learned about this from my niece and nephew who got it from their social studies class. And so if you guys want to verify anything Rob says during his nuclear conversations, is the thing. But you should be aware that school systems do not like you to talk about this. And be careful where you're at that your kids aren't using this in school. And maybe you should find out if they are using this. It could get them in trouble.
Yeah, think about it. There's nothing like an entire generation of children who think they don't have a future. That's
right.
What that would do to them.
Yes. Yes. So, and I would understand from the context. Think about World War II. They're talking about it. They're talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the two and what they did with them at that time and stuff. You can talk about it, but do you really need to integrate real-time stuff where they can watch it go through? I mean, when we were younger, what was the name of in the 80s?
Terminator.
No. That movie where what would happen
the day after? Was it the day after?
Yes, like the day after. And I remember having to watch that, and you saw the explosion, and you had your raids where some of you had the raids where your schools would go through the test and you would crawl underneath your desk.
That'll save you.
And but those were the kind of things. But anyway, since Rob was having this great topic, I thought I would share this with you guys. That yeah.
Here's one. If anybody wants to get really depressed, you can watch my videos, get super depressed. Then go on to like StreamYard or Prime or whatever, and watch a movie called Threads. And they made it. It's a British movie, and it talks about nukes, like England getting nuked. Super depressing. Like I had to fast forward through stuff, like scenes that because you think it was made in the late 70s or early 80s, I believe. And you're like, well, watching it, and you're like, okay, there won't be CGI. The effects will be really depressing. It's made in the 80s. The film's a little grainy, but when you see those scenes with how they made explosions, and there's just the rubble, and they just have a blackened body, and it's just burning, and you're just like, oh. Fast forward.
Well,
fast forward.
It's from 1984. We found it.
Yes, it's a lot of people talk about. It just feels realistic, so it's super depressing.
Boy, your wife just comes home to a ball full of cheer every night, doesn't she?
Oh, I try to talk about other things, and I do. If I make the mistake of talking about oh my God, guess what happened today? She just looks at me and says, no, don't tell me.
Not today.
Yeah, exactly. Not today.
It's just not today.
She walks in, Rob has all his ammo and munitions out, and he's just cleaning stuff and loading stuff.
That's it right there.
Fred.
Well, if you didn't share sound, we're not going to hear a thing.
Well, we'll see.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's watch the trailer for a little bit.
The United States government has been forced, reluctantly, to take action to safeguard what it believes are legitimate Western interests in the Middle East. We are confident
F4.
that the Soviet Union will take note of our resolve and will desist from its present perilous course of action.
There's growing evidence overnight from scientists and observers in many countries that there have been 2 nuclear explosions in the Middle East.
In response to today's news of the outbreak of hostilities between vessels of the United States and Soviet navies,
The Ministry of Defence has announced it's sending more troops to Europe to reinforce the British commitment to NATO.
This time, they are playing with, at best, the destruction of life as we know it, and at worst, total annihilation. You cannot win a nuclear war!
the time has now come to make everything ready for you and your family in case an air attack happens. When you hear the attack warning, you and your family must take cover at once. The most widespread danger is fallout.
Quite good. Attack warning. Is it for real? Attack warning's for bloody real. Is it? You can't just do a face like that. Go get a kitty sign or something. Come on, quick, get down!
Oh. Now the pounding like. Oh,
yeah. Oh. I'm the crapper, no way.
You know, you could tell those are miniatures, but they look good.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Spoiler: almost everyone they show is
Wow.
Now imagine the same movie, but it's Kamala Harris and her, you know,
Oh,
a group
God.
of people in charge. Ooh,
No.
that would go well.
Well, all I can say is this has been, really happy, fun,
Uplifting.
uplifting.
Yeah.
Nuclear, bad things happening, inflation, and the comic industry. Look at that. It all goes hand to hand.
But we want to end on a happy note.
So what is that happy
Before
note?
we get, so we'll talk about the happy note. And then after that, Rob, if you want to pull your campaign up, we can show that briefly. The happy note is, what's the over under on P. Diddy getting Epstein in jail?
I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back.
Oh, he's got an inside connection to somebody with P. Diddy. That's why.
That's right.
He's trying to win this.
So, Belle, what do you think? P. Diddy, does he make it out of jail or does he get suicided?
Ooh, I don't think he's going to be able to get out. But I think it's really just a distraction at this point. Like, it's just interesting this entire time, P. Diddy was just free to do whatever. Yeah. And right about the election time, he's finally got arrested and all these things come out. I think it's just the it's a hard one to say for me. Sacrificial lamb.
Oh,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on. So I wouldn't be surprised, if he ends up dead, because apparently he was sent in a prison too. That's like very like inhumane in the way they run things there. Like it's a very shitty prison for what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but
I'm not exactly sure where he is, but I was listening to somebody because you think that too, you go, man, with all the people that have been at his place and at these parties and the videotapes he has and all that,
he's got a lot of dirt.
Definitely go the Epstein route. But then another route is, what if P. Diddy's like, I will give it all up. I will give up everything. On so many, everything.
He's dead.
If it all pans out, I want a new face, a new identity.
Well, he's already the rumor, and it's always rumors that allegedly he's been giving up people for years because the feds have known all about it, and he turned in state's evidence once in a while on other people just so that he wouldn't be the one in trouble. Although the feds knew everything that was going on and what he did, so none of this is surprising. This is to me hip hop Epstein, right? Right here.
But wait, that was your happy note?
Yeah, because it's about P. Diddy, not us.
Right.
And we have nothing to do with P. Diddy.
So all I'm picturing now, because we don't want to get struck from REM, but comics and nukes, it's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. If we sing it, they won't strike us. But if we were to play the video, YouTube would cut us off at the kneecap.
YouTube.
So you need our comic books to read by candlelight.
Right.
Is what
That's
we're
right.
saying.
So Rob,
Yes.
what's your take on P. Diddy again? Right now.
I don't really pay attention to any of that.
Because he's on the list.
No. Why would
I was at those parties?
There's more serious stuff going on, in the world that who cares what P. Diddy did or didn't do. I consider politicians and those big entertainers. It's dancing clowns. It's dancing clowns to distract the public, and it's just more, shit to talk about. So you don't talk about what's going on in Israel and Ukraine and Iran and what's
the
going
big
on with the dollar
in Lebanon.
Yeah, and the dollar. Like I literally heard that they are already doing tours of the beaches of Gaza to, because Gaza had some beautiful, fantastic beachfront property. So there's already real estate guys already dividing all that stuff up. So the war's still going on, and they're already thinking about.
Well, I mean, I didn't
property stuff.
I didn't hear that, but I mean, I have heard that, if Gaza was run properly, the beachfront, the climate, everything, that place would just rake in the money tourist destination wise on how it is.
You just have to be cognizant of the ultralights that are flying overhead.
Well, but it's if it was ran properly, that's from one person's perspective too.
No, I know.
I mean? That's the capitalist. That's the Western perspective.
Hey, Rob, you got to pull your campaign up to share.
Okay.
Death Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fletcher 559. Yeah, I can't wait.
We are so close because see, even Randy's got it right there. There's the link, Indiegogo.
And here it is.
Now, this is our happy note.
Oh, this is
Oh, hey, this is our everyone's favorite Marsak Marine getting his legs blown off and building out the Death Raider armor.
Yes, happy note.
Happy because Rob, if you've told me before, he got his legs blown off, but he didn't lose his,
No. And in fact, he's such a big stud. I don't even talk about that in the first issue, like him and the ladies. So
it's the next issue when he uses it as a pogo stick. That's how much of a stud he is.
Unfortunately, the next issue is mostly him and his little trio fighting the Ray Corps in the city. So I still don't know if I'm going to get to his dating life in the second issue. Maybe third, fourth, maybe the fifth issue. We'll actually see how his dating life goes on. We'll see.
All right. So production wise, if I remember correctly, well, you tell us, where are you at? Where's this book at in production?
This book is done. The only thing left is finalizing the designs on the trading cards. The inside first page.
Yep.
Like credits and stuff.
Yeah.
But everything else, pencils, inks, colors, lettering, all of that is finished. We are done.
I can't wait for it, man.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a ETA in mind of when you're hoping to get it to the printer, or?
No, because I wanna do one final push because it's still such a small campaign.
Sure.
And Ethan wanted to do a closeout, so I have to arrange the closeout with Ethan.
Very cool.
So I honestly don't have an ETA yet.
No, that's cool.
I'm just to be honest, just happy to have it done. Plus, to be honest, it's the to pay the bills, I do freelance stuff. So it really is half the month is doing freelance work, and half the month is just deal with finishing up Death Raider and getting all that stuff.
Well, with your freelance stuff, I give you credit because it takes a certain kind of man to stand on the street corner for 8 hours at night,
spinning an umbrella,
hawking his wares.
Sometimes it's 12 hours if the boss asks me to work a little bit longer and spin that, subway sign. So, I'll do it. I'll do it because the freelance work subsidized Death Raider at this point.
When he pulls up in his Cadillac with the fuzzy dice and the big horns on the front and says you need to work an extra 4 hours, you do it.
That's right.
Hey, he says, if you work real hard, maybe in 10 years, you'll own a Subway. And I'm just like, really, boss? And he just shakes his head and goes, no.
No, I can remember I was so excited when you first announced Death Raider and it was going to be like a 6,000-page omnibus. And
oh, I was too. I was excited to do 100 pages. Everyone said, dude, you're an idiot. Why are you trying to do 100 pages? And I'm like, well, it's a stretch goal to 100 pages. And they're like, so it's going to be 48. And then I'm like, and I just would get quiet. And they're like, oh, so it's not 48. And I'm like, no, it's 72 pages. And everyone just would look at me like, what is wrong with you? Why are you launching your first book with?
But yet it's here.
But yeah, it's finished. 72 pages. It took a while.
Dude, it's a great accomplishment. It looks cool. I'm looking forward to reading it. I mean, it's a hell of a road you traveled to get to this end point with it. But once you have it in your hands, you're just going to feel like
it's going to be.
I know you're never going to have kids. We've already talked about this. So when you swaddle this book and you hold it tight and kiss it on its cover,
he'll sleep with a cover under.
That's right.
Copy under his pillow.
You'll tell your wife, hey, you almost rolled over onto Death Raider, the comic. Stay on your side of the bed, honey. Let's not smother the book.
But hey, it's not too late to back it. That's what we're saying.
That's the key.
It's still up, and until he closes this out, you guys don't miss your opportunity to back this really awesome looking book.
There will be no second chances. This is it. This is it. If you want the first issue, you want the first printing, you've got to do it now, because once I've closed it out, I'm not coming back with a second chance or anything like that. It literally, the next time you'll be able to get Death Raider 1 will be the second printing, and that will be when I'm selling Death Raider 2. And I won't be doing that until I want at least 30 pages done before I launch Death Raider 2 the campaign. So.
Hey, Rob, read that comment. Read that comment.
Son of a... Well, you know what? I'll pull 2 pages out. Just for him.
Just for him.
Yeah, just for him. Just rip out the last page.
Just 2 random pages. Like, you won't know what the F's going on.
Why does the story take a jump?
Because there's a couple.
You can't rip them out. You got to cut them out. Because it's a square bound book, so you got to cut them out with very precise.
And then take that extra page and crumple it up and use it as padding inside the Gemini mailer.
I will rip them out so he can see that they've been ripped.
Oh boy, Steven, you walked into that one.
Originally, this bad boy was like 80 pages, and I had to start pulling pages. So there's a sequence where there's a little bit of a jump that's explained in the dialogue and in the captions. So if I pull out the wrong page, he'll be like, what happened to the subplot?
So
that's one of those little linchpins in a story. Maybe I can just yank that page. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I hear you.
Rip out 2 pages. There you go. There's your 70 pages.
Yeah, that's right. You want
the sucker now, Steven.
That's right. Should never said anything. Oh my God. Okay, well, guys, go back. That is still live, still good to go. There will be a closeout coming up, but until then, go back it. There's the link. So definitely do that. And then, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Kor-Drath.
Well, I was going to answer one question. Somebody was saying up there, vampires can only come in if you invite them. Now, for those who are not big on vampire lore, I highly suggest you go watch The Lost Boys to find out what works on vampires and what doesn't work on vampires. And then this will make more sense to you. So there we go. Our piece of advice.
Okay. So Kor-Drath, The Awakening, guys, fans of Dungeons and Dragons, Conan, Game of Thrones, you will like this book. 64-page graphic novel, started page 35 today. We are just 77 backers away from 800 backers, climbing towards 60 grand. The next stretch goal, which unlocks the Bartier's Dan Lawless mini print, which I can bring up over here as a overlay. Oh, look at that. That mini print will be unlocked once we hit 60 grand. Andy and Dennis.
The Frog Brothers.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, then you've never watched The Lost Boys.
No, I've watched Lost Boys. I just don't remember stuff from movies. You know that.
Yeah, or from Basic Life. We get it. We
Whatever.
understand.
The Bloodroot Adriana cover. It goes perfectly side by side with his Lilith cover. That's one of the options. Let's see. Yep, we are making a poster as well. Ooh. That is available in 2 different sizes, 36 by 24 or 24 by 16. So really nice, heavy matte paper, perfect for framing.
I got a framed one at home to test it out. It's awesome, really awesome, heavy. It's almost like cardboard. It's like cardstock.
It is thick, and it comes packed very well. New T-shirt featuring Bud's art, multiple cover options, preview pages are up. Tons of great stuff, guys. You definitely don't want to miss out on this one. If you did miss the first book, the featured tier is a second printing of Kor-Drath, The Reckoning with a new Bloodroot cover, and the cover A for volume 2, The Awakening. So definitely check that out. And then if you didn't see the start of the show, guys, you can still go back this. It's in demand for a little longer. We said it would ship in time for Christmas. We've got the books. Ooh. Right here. You're going, I can't see. You're so small. Pardon us, guys. Right here.
Yep, that's what your wife said.
Books in it is.
Oh. Yeah, I was.
It is.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Hey.
Micro is a prefix for a reason, Andy.
Hey. It's not a clit. It's a micro penis. And I'm just saying,
micro.
I'm just saying there are charities out there you can donate to, like me. I'll give you my PayPal and you can donate for a good cause. Maybe I can have a surgery. Let's get back to the children's books. They're here. We're starting to ship out tomorrow. We got, what is this one? You'll Bleed, the mature version. We got I Love to Read, the kiddie version. We've got the activity book.
Oh.
And guys, now that the book is out, I'll give you an example of a page. Open up, Dennis will show you the children's version of a specific page. So Dennis, hold up that spread. Now you will see that Kor-Drath meets a clan of dwarves, if you
nice
will.
Caravan of dwarves.
Nice caravan of dwarves.
Snow White.
Sits down by the fire, has some hot cider. Turn the page, Dennis. This is the kids' book.
And in the children's book,
he walks away waving to his newfound friends, wishing them a happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
They warmed him up. They gave him some cider. He made brand new friends. It's amazing.
Amazing. In the adult version, he meets his new buddies, and then you turn the page, and he thanks them for all they did and wishes them farewell in the afterlife because he can't let them spoil the secret of Adriana's present.
He can't know what she's getting for Christmas.
So he decapitates a few, chucks a couple into the fire
of his new friends,
and goes on his merry way. That's the adult version.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well, that is a positive note.
Now, again, we have it on the cover. So the kids' book, I Love to Read. The adult book, mature version, You'll Bleed, courtesy of Art to Bear, who thought that would be a great subtitle. So we took that from Art. Thank you, Art.
That is actually that's a great subtitle.
Yeah. So go back. That link for that is in the description below as well. Get yourself some goodies, and everything's going to be just fine. Don't listen to Rob. He just likes doing these videos from the bunker, Bob's bunker.
Hey Rob, you might have to have me on. I might have to guest star in one of your videos if you want. So
you know what?
Talk about some of this.
It's really funny is everybody keeps saying they want to be on it.
Dude, you can do a guest every week.
I'm telling you.
There you go.
Who is visiting Bob's bunker this week?
Bob's bunker. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Who's the guest star in it? So
Rob, hold on. I got a great intro you should film. It's a takeoff on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, except you walk in, you take your slippers off and put on combat boots. You take your sweater off and put on your flak jacket that you wear. Then you sit down at your desk to start recording Bob's bunker.
And then you go, "Hello, neighbors.
Welcome to Mr. Bob's bunker."
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he just put some work on you.
Yeah, exactly. Like the more complicated it is, the less chance I'll be able to do it because I have work.
Yes.
Well, I would be glad to be a guest as well, so you could have us separately, and we could have a little chat.
You know, and I will say this for those of you that are coming in, because I see a bunch of you are coming in late again. You guys have missed the most uplifting episode that maybe was ever on the DNA show. Two great guests, Rob and Bella. Love having them on there. And everything was positive. We talked IDW comics going down the shitter for $200 a page. We talked about nuclear war. We talked about inflation. All the big positives
all the happy
that we're
stuff.
hoping for on a daily show.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh,
stuff.
and soccer. Soccer.
Oh, we
yeah,
football
that
and
too.
soccer.
Yeah, we
don't
covered
forget
And
about that.
rugby, right?
Yes.
Little rugby.
Oh, by the way, Dennis, actually, I have a beef with you. Like, I mean, sort of about Kor-Drath. In the first book, you wrote it, right?
Yes, we did.
So you wrote the sex scene.
Yes,
right?
did.
So you decided to put 3 minutes in the sex scene. Like, I mean, there's that sex scene where then it's like 3 minutes later.
3 minutes later.
Right. So we're
Well, are you
talking
saying it's
about.
too long?
Well, I mean,
Nah.
Dennis wanted to.
No, hold on. I want
wait.
no. I want to hear Belle's take. I already know your take for the 800th
You
time.
write what you know. That's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
So, Belle,
like
what's your opinion?
It's like that strong barbarian, like Conan, like, you know, and it's like we know what the reality would be like. I just need you to lie to me, you know, just lie to me.
3.5 minutes.
Look,
Exactly,
I
3.5.
took what
the
Andy said
minimum.
was his average and tripled it. So I figured that would be good.
You got a micro peen. It definitely goes by pretty quick.
You know, the first writing on the first version of the script, it was longer. But we wound up putting that out there, and so many people were laughing at the 3 minutes later. We decided to keep
Yeah,
it
I
at
did giggle. Yeah, I was like, ah. It was.
And
it
as
was
you can
funny.
tell, it's never Andy can't let that go. So you know that's
Oh.
been on many of our earlier videos.
All I know is your wife read it and she said this is definitely a fantasy book. And then look at you. Just saying.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't really look like
my wife read it and said,
I have a goatee, otherwise it's the same.
My wife read it and said, add a 0 after that 3. And I was like, you know it.
And then say seconds.
Changed to seconds. 30 seconds.
Microseconds.
Oh my God. So yeah, this show, I'm glad you guys came.
Yep.
It always takes a turn to wherever, and you know, it was a good one.
Dennis said, what are we talking about today? I said, we got 2 great guests. I'm not worried about it. We'll think of something.
Micro penises.
That's right. See, Rob's all hot and bothered now. He's like,
I gotta take a break.
as soon as the cameras are off, Rob's getting a ruler out just to make sure he doesn't fall into that category.
Yeah, wait a minute. What's a micro penis?
He's Googling it right now.
What the hell?
All right, I got it by a 16th of an inch.
You know what Rob's next video is going to be about?
That's right. Another bad news video.
Well, you wanted to be a guest, Cindy,
More
right?
men have micro penis than you know.
That's gonna be one of Rob's videos. Okay, guys, I have some bad news. I measured it, and I didn't even hit the average.
Oh, way over. Sorry, guys.
Way over.
I don't want to make you feel lesser men, but what are we supposed to do with 22 inches?
That's Dennis's inseam.
I should have asked Didi.
Keeps tripping me up. Makes my job so difficult. I keep sitting on it.
It does. All right, guys. Graybeards starts in 15 minutes. That's Aaron Lepresti's show with David Williams, Gary Martin, Kelsey Shannon, and if he has any guests, go check it out. I don't know what they're drawing this week.
Yeah, I didn't see what it was this week, but it's always a fun show with those guys. If you get time to watch them draw, they're fun.
That's right. And tomorrow night, guys, we're going to see a movie. What the hell's the name of that movie we're seeing? I already forgot.
Oh, yeah, Marcus is right. It is. So we are doing a review. We're going to record it after this. We went and saw The Substance, the new Demi Moore and Dennis Quaid movie. We saw that, so we will be reviewing that. And then we've got the movie for tomorrow.
Don't Let Go. Is that it?
Something like
It's
that.
something like that with Halle Berry.
Yeah, it's the Halle Berry Never Let Go.
Never Let Go. New Halle Berry horror movie.
Horror-ish movie.
Yep. We'll see
Low
that tomorrow
budget.
night. Drop the review first thing on Friday for you guys. Next week, we'll be back at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Guest to be announced later.
That's right.
Thank you to our wonderful guests, Bella Winters and Rob Hunter, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yep.
And we will be back next week. Go back, Death Rider. Go back, Kor-Drath. Get the kids' book. They are being fulfilled.
Tomorrow. I'll be over here early-ish in order to start packing up and delivering to the post office.
That's right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
As long as you prosper.
That's right.